Hi there. I'm Scott Johnson. I'm the state organizer for Indiana 5051, and I'm sorry. And now let me explain. I went to bed last night wondering a little bit about how long it would be before I put my foot in my mouth. And the answer is less than 3 hours. Again, let me explain. 5051, both national and particularly Indiana, we are not political professionals. No one in the movement, I don't believe, is a political professional unless they're a Johnny-come-lately and looking to sort of pile on to a bandwagon. We are, as I like to say, just folk. And if you think that's a Firefly reference, you're right. I love Mal. He's one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. As I was saying, we're just folk, and we're going to get it wrong from time to time. And last night, I got it wrong. I had a flyer put out that said, for our 517 event, no damn speakers. Yes, those were my words, and I will admit it. And I'll say it again, I'm sorry. Here at Indiana 5051, we have no advisors. We have no image consultants. We have no wordsmiths. We are just people doing our best. And we are people that, quite honestly, have been working really hard and are tired. So last night we found out that 5051 National is only promoting one event in May Day, our 5-1 Smash event. And our reaction on the team was, it was a mixture of shock, dismay, and absolute betrayal. Our honest reaction was, F that. Now, if you notice, I did not use that word, okay? I've listened, I've heard some people that perhaps my profanity is a little bit uncalled for. And we honestly responded with absolute defiance. We are now doing 3 events this month. We are doing 5-1, that is a full-on protest with speakers and the whole 9 yards. We are doing 517. Now that is something new, and we have called it internally the social. And 525, that is another full-on protest. Okay? Because that's the one when we hear Trump is going to be in town for, as we call it, the vroom vroom. Because he's going to want to drive his big car and go vroom vroom. And this is why I'm saying I'm sorry. We needed to make a flyer to promote 517 quickly. And my explicit instructions to Tori were to make it simple. Don't do the beautiful thing that you've done so far. Just make it easy. Get it out as a save the date. And we wanted to make people realize that it wasn't a full-on protest, because that's the expectation of 5051 Indiana, is a full-on protest, because it's the only thing we've done so far. And I am an idiot. And yes, that's a supernatural reference. Because I said to use the phrase, no damn speakers. Now, why would I say that? Why would the guy who is the MC, who talks to every single speaker, and is a speaker himself, say that? It was humor, people. It was tongue-in-cheek humor. The 5051 brand is basically irreverence on every level, okay? Come on, we are a bunch of internet and media nerds. We say we are the resistance. We proudly style ourselves that. The only reason we don't call ourselves the rebellion, right, a much better Star Wars reference, is because it would probably land all of us in jail more quickly. Now today, that irreverence has bitten me because I have offended someone that I value personally. I'm not going to name them out, but there is stuff calling me out online saying, oh, why would they treat us this way? The only point I was trying to make, people, was that this is a different type of event. That's it. It was not a slam at our speakers. I love our speakers. We were simply trying to point out that this event was different. Now, personally, I wanted to call it a picnic, but this is where the people that we do have said, no, Scott, you can't call it a picnic because what if 1,000 people show up expecting to be fed? And I was like, well, crap, we cannot afford that. We just flat out can't afford it. Then I wanted to call it a social, but that's ambiguous. What does that mean? Right? Is it an old-fashioned ice cream social? Well, people might think that, and then we have to buy ice cream, and we can't afford that. So I said those fateful words, no damn speakers. It was tongue-in-cheek humor, and on reflection, it was stupid, and I was wrong to say it that way, and I'm sorry. That was the very last decision that was made in a 1 hour and 22-minute stand-up meeting, the second stand-up meeting of the evening, by the way, because we run 2 of them, because we have 2 separate leadership sections. I gave the words, Tori made the flyer, I put it out. I'm not sure if Alice beat me putting it out, but I did put it out. Others put it out. And then I moved on and went back to my computer to write a small bit of code before the next crisis arrived, okay? Because my life these days is careening from crisis to crisis, okay? Honest to God, I'm like a pinball machine, right? Except I'm the ball. And just to be clear, that crisis, much to my surprise, had already arrived. I just hadn't read the message and wouldn't for another hour and 11 minutes. Now that next crisis will be the topic of a different speech, perhaps. So the end result here is I tried to be on brand and funny, and I offended people, and I apologize. So let me close out with some words that I wrote earlier today in our main Indiana 50-51 chat, right? This is what we call the big chat. And if you're in our Signal group chat, that's the one with the corn emoji and the race car emoji. And if I can suggest one general thing to everyone online, now that was directed to our own people. If we could start with the underlying assumption that everyone here is an ally and of good faith, that might make things go more smoothly. I personally like to believe that people have good hearts, but are basically busy and self-interested, and sometimes lazy. If you take that approach to life, it tends to make things easier because you tend to take things not as strongly. That's my last dad moment for today. I love all of you. Now let's get this done. 11:18 a.m. Now, another way to say this is never assume malice when incompetence explains it just as well. I made a mistake, people. I love our speakers. I tried to be funny and it failed. And I'm sorry. Thank you.